setting the body into a state of relaxation, stillness, and vigilance. Allowing the breathing to flow naturally and effortlessly, not trying to control or regulate the breath in any way. Letting go of any hopes or fears, worries or concerns about the past or the future. In particular, letting go of any expectations for this meditation. And simply allowing the mind to come to rest in the present moment, focusing on the sensations of the breath throughout the body. Now narrow your focus and focus on the sensations of the breath in the area of the abdomen. Focusing on the sensations of the rising and lowering of the abdomen as you breathe. Maintaining that ongoing flow of mindfulness of the sensations of the breath throughout the entire cycle of each in and out breath. We find ourselves getting caught up in any agitation, tension or distraction, then particularly on the out breath, simply relax, release that distraction, and very gently return to focusing on the breath. And if you find yourself falling into dullness, drowsiness, or simply being spaced out, then particularly on each in-breath, refresh your interest in the practice. Restore your attention on the breath, sharpen your focus, and then retain that ongoing flow of mindfulness. So refresh, restore, and retain. So on each out-breath, relaxing and releasing any tension or distractions. And on each in-breath, arousing and refreshing your focus, sharpening your focus. And if you find yourself constantly becoming distracted, then it can be helpful to count the breaths as a way of stabilizing the attention. So for this, mentally note 1 at the end of the in-breath. Focus on the sensations of the breath on the following out-breath and the following in-breath. At the next end of the next in-breath, mentally note 2. In this way, counting the breaths from 1 up to 10, and then go back to 1 again. If at any time you lose the count, simply go back to 1. So let's now experiment with counting the breath to see if it helps to stabilize our attention. Any questions about that practice?
Technical question. When I inhale, it's okay. And when I switch to exhale, also. But from exhaling to inhaling, I feel a bit of a pressure.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
technique
Yeah.
to help?
Yeah, usually what happens is we have this tension, and so we don't actually exhale properly. Before we finished, we want to bring it in. So on the out breath, emphasize relaxing, and the key is the end of the out breath. When you get to the end of the out breath, just relax even more. Because there is this tendency, as we have this tension in life, that even before we're finished breathing out, we're already trying to suck it in again. Of course, we're not talking about trying to push out all the air completely. That's also. So we're not trying to empty the lungs. That's forcing. But just really just resist that tendency to want to suck it back in before it's time. So just really, at the end of the out-breath, just really relax even more and let it naturally come to an end rather than trying to forcibly bring it in. Because, yeah, we tend to do that. So but again, we're not trying to push the air out. That's also not. So it's just practice. We didn't finish the fault, so let's just briefly look at that for a couple of minutes and then we'll break for lunch. So we're looking at the 5 faults. We've covered the first 3 now. So the 4th fault is non-application. Non-application means that we've noticed there's a fault, we've noticed we've become dull or distracted, and we don't do anything about that. That's a fault. So the antidote is application. So application here would generally mean to reapply mindfulness if we've become dull or distracted. Then there's one last fault called over-application, which for us as beginners is not really a big issue, but it starts to become or can become an issue the further we get into the practice. Over-application means that we're actually focusing on the object well, but we are unnecessarily adjusting our focus. That's over-application. So the antidote to that is don't do anything. Leave it as it is. And that's here equanimity. So equanimity here means balance. The mind is already balanced. Just stay in that balanced state. So of course, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So therefore, when we get deeper into the practice, we need to be attentive that we're not over-adjusting unnecessarily. That if it is focusing well, just leave it as it is. So they're the 5 faults and 8 antidotes. So let's break for lunch now.